Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. So Reform UK have gotten their first live defection. That is, the first sitting Tory MP has moved to Reform UK. Tory boy, more commonly known as the Etonian born into extreme wealth and privilege, that is Danny Kruger, has joined Nigel Farage's party. He says because he doesn't think the Conservative Party can overtake them again. So basically, he's just joining what he thinks is the winning side. But his defection raises interesting questions about what Reform UK really are. It's not a party of working people, so how can it be a party for working people? But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So this is more than a little embarrassing for Kemi Badenoch. She must have thought everything life was brilliant here. Oh, Labour under the cosh again. Nice, easy week for me. Then a member of her shadow cabinet has defected to Reform UK. Not just a Tory MP. We're not talking about a Tory backbencher here. That would have been bad enough. A member of her top team. He was the shadow minister for work and pensions. She's got to find another one. And then Labour are going to ask, you seem to have a new shadow minister for work and pensions there, Kemi. And what's that about then? Oh, Labour could have immense fun with this. They'd better do anyway. I would. But Badenoch's problems are neither here nor there for most of us, are they? There are bigger issues here. So, Labour, the party of the worker, have their parliamentary seats full of people of working or middle class. Not too many toffs. In fact, none at all. I mean, relatively few are even privately educated and none right at the top of the party. But there are no Etonians on the Labour benches, are they? The Conservatives, of course, are chock full of them. Indeed, two have led their party in recent years. Now, another has fled the nest for the allure of Reform UK. But why? Well, Danny Kruger says that the Conservative Party have finished, that he backed Robert Jenrick. He thought Robert Jenrick would be good, but that even if he took over now, he doesn't think he can overtake Reform UK. So if we take him at his word, he believes that Reform UK is the main player on the right wing. So that's why he's joining them. Purely that. Not because he thinks they would make the best government, but because they are the best chance to form any sort of extreme capitalist government. That being said, his own constituency is not prime Reform UK territory. He will most certainly have done a deal with Farage to chicken run somewhere safer for the next election. Wouldn't it be a shame if Reform UK deflated in the next couple of years and he gets stuck in a losing battle for Barnsley South? But anyway, this news is spicy enough in itself. He's defected and nice and early. I will be honest, I did not expect Conservative defection so soon. I'd have expected them to wait until mid-Parliament to check that the momentum was real. But I guess the benefit to Kruger here is he gets in early. He can build up his credentials with the supporters. And also, I mean, maybe something like Nadine Dorries shifting urged him on. He was thinking, well, hang on a minute. If they get a load of former Tories, Tory has-beens, I might not get a prime seat. Because his seat, I really don't think Reform UK can win that seat next election. It's very, very Tory, like proper Tory. So, yeah, if an MP in a seat which Reform probably can't win will defect so soon, that raises the risk of Tories in seats more vulnerable to Reform UK doing so before too much longer. You know, if there were to be several more moves in the next, even like half a year or so, I mean, that would be the end of Badenoch, wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be a laugh if Jenrick did then take over to find that actually all the craze has already left? Maybe it would force the Tories to swing the other way instead. But my main interest here is less the tricky situation the Tories find themselves in, but how this defection once again exposes Reform UK for who they are. Now, I'd like to point something out. Okay, Danny Kruger is a posh Etonian, right? He was born into a family wealthy enough to send him to the poshest of private schools, the place where royalty is sent. He acts like it as well. His politics is not that of redistributing wealth. It's not of workers' rights or anything like that. Now, he's not the most extreme free market capitalist out there, but he is in their ballpark. For example, it would have been absolutely ridiculous if Kruger had defected to Labour. Anyone reading that headline, Danny Kruger defects to Labour, would instantly know it was an Onion-type parody. Wouldn't happen in a million years. Yet, he can defect to Reform UK. Nobody bats an eyelid. Why? Because anyone paying attention knows that Reform UK are not the party for working people. This defection is just the latest in a consistent structure of Reform UK as the playground of the rich and privileged. They have Lee Anderson as their working class mascot, but he doesn't run anything in the party. He was given the joke position of party whip, which means telling himself how to vote because everyone else is senior to him. The party itself, the actual party leadership, is pure wealth and privilege. They're all millionaires, some of them way more than that. I mean, let's get into the numbers. Reform's recent accounts revealed donations around £7 million the last cycle, of which 5.8 million came in cheques of £100,000 or more. The names on those cheques, of course, reads like a who's who of the rich and famous. You got Nick Candy, the luxury property developer who once tried to sell a Hyde Park penthouse for £160 million. He's now the party treasurer. He's funnelled hundreds of thousands into Reform UK, including a £500,000 transfer flagged by the Electoral Commission. Then there's the Jersey-based investor Christopher Harburn, who contributed $300,000 through a Singapore entity that also supports GB News presenters. £200,000 from telecoms tycoon Peter Daresbury. You've got more than a tenth of the party's entire war chest before even considering a single membership fee. Now you talk about loans. Richard Tice's company, Tice Industries Limited, has provided £1.1 million in interest-free credit, more than Reform's total annual membership income since it started. You know, critics are calling this personal patronage. Tice calls it patriotic seed capital. Of course he does. But regardless, it means that the party's future hinges on a man who owns a sprawling estate in Surrey, a collection of vintage cars, a Bentley once used by Churchill. When regular parties run low on cash, they turn to their supporters, their members, right? When Reform is in a pinch, it seems to knock on Richard Tice's door instead, right? Then you've got the MPs. A bit of a crossover here. Money speaks. It's the MPs who are casting the votes, however. They are really important. So who are the MPs for Reform? What do they bring to the table besides a leave means leave lanyard? Well, let's have a look at them. Richard Tice again. He's their MP for Boston and Skegness. Potential net worth 100 million quid. His fortune comes from property development, family haulage business, stakes in 2 North Sea oil explorers. You can sort of see where the politics comes from there. Rupert Lowe is not a Reform MP anymore, but he was, of course, MP for Great Yarmouth. Former owner of Southampton Football Club. Flaunting declared assets worth tens of millions of pounds, including a 300-acre farm in Herefordshire. James McMurdoch, again, a former Reform MP now, but he was a Reform MP. He's an ex-trader who paid himself £1.2 million the year before he stood for election. Now, of course, you've got Danny Kruger, who's joined their gang, very much born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Sarah Poaching, we'll not forget about her. She's not on the same level as her male colleagues, Anderson aside, but she's still a privately educated millionaire in her own right. Basically, you've got a parliamentary group whose combined declared assets surpass £200 million, more than the entire Lib Dem front bench and SNP Westminster group combined. None of it's illegal. It's all available in the registers of members' financial interests. But it does undermine this narrative that Reform is like a scrappy upstart fueled by people power, small donations, stuff like that. Absolute nonsense. Their own declarations show it's a handful of rich blokes donating all their money. It's not even like they have a mix. I'm not pointing out, I'm not selecting here. I'm not pointing out a small number who just happen to be wealthy. Like the Conservatives, I wouldn't just go, oh, you've got Jacob Rees-Mogg, Rishi Sunak and everyone else in the Conservative Party is the same. No, they've got a mix. They've got a mix of serious money like Rees-Mogg and Sunak, along with Tories who've only got like a few million in the bank. And they've got the odd one that's not even a millionaire, not very many. But with Reform UK, they're all millionaires. With the sole exception of Lee Anderson, he's the only one, literally their only exception, whether you consider their MPs or whether you consider their top policy team. When you're talking about the ones who run it, like Zia Youssef, Aaron Banks, Nick Candy, people like that, the ones who are outside the parliamentary party, they're all really wealthy. Lee Anderson is literally their only exception. And even he's got pound signs in his eyes. He does not want to stay the only non-millionaire in the party for long. Now, wealthy backers don't just open their wallets for nostalgia, of course. They want a return. ideally in terms of shared ideology. Reform's main tax pledge is what? What is it? Abolish inheritance tax entirely. That going to help struggling working people? Scrapping that doesn't save the average worker a penny. But it could save Nick Candy around £30 million on his London properties, or his kids anyway. Similarly, Reform wants to lift the lifetime cap on pension pots. Now, this is a move that the Resolution Foundation claims would basically benefit the top 5% of retirees. They also oppose tightening non-dom rules, which several major donors use while residing in Monaco or the Channel Islands for tax benefits, right? Coincidence? I don't think so. As the saying goes, where you stand often depends on where you sit, preferably in a leather chair in Knightsbridge. Reform UK are a party of the wealthy and privileged for the wealthy and privileged. They're like the Tories if you removed what's left of their social contract. I mean, I've seen people asking, how can British Asians be mad enough to support Reform UK? Well, how can anyone who's not a millionaire do so? It's obscene that they derive so much support from the very people they will hammer hardest with their policies if they ever get into power. Just like with MAGA, the people who most support Trump are the ones getting clobbered hardest by him. And with the constant conveyor belt of Tories being shuffled into the fold by Farage, who stands there like a Walmart greeter welcoming his kindred spirits, how on earth can anyone believe that it isn't just a relaunched Tory party? Because Danny Kruger's saying something, right? And I think he believes it. The Tory party's finished. Now, if he believes that, what's Reform UK? It's the rebrand. It's what happens when a business becomes really unpopular. Right, it gets a bad reputation. What do? Does the business just collapse? Well, maybe it does. But canny business owners go, tell you what, I'll just rebrand it. So that business collapses. Then all the assets get shuffled to a new one with a new name, new logo, new shop and everything. That's what Reform UK are. They saw the writing on the wall. They said, we need a new Tory party. But let me know what you think in the comments below. For more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.